This is Planet of the Chimps number 2 website news for January 18, 2012. One of the big items today on the news on January 18 is that many websites are censoring themselves to show what websites would look like once the government decides to censor the internet. There is a bill going through Congress right now, and it's called Sopa, S-O-P-A, which is basically stands for Stop Online Piracy Act. And what the bill does, it's supposed to prevent people from stealing copyrighted material from the internet. However, it also has provisions in there that basically the government can shut down any website just because they think that it might be infringing, or because the website has linked to a website that has had piracy problems. The point is that they can use this bill just like they use the Patriot Act, in the sense that they can walk up to you, any individual in the United States right now. They can say, we think you're involved with terrorists, so just to make sure, we're going to lock you up forever. We're not going to bring you in front of a judge. You're not going to have a jury. We're not going to press any charges. We're just going to lock you away. Well, the same thing happens with this act. Basically, they can pull the website and they say, well, we think, there's something wrong with your website and you're doing something wrong, so we're just going to pull you out of the internet. And using this methodology, they can actually close down any political website that the government doesn't like. Anything that's against the government's current policies, or the White House, what they're doing, anything against Obama, anything against the Republican Party, etc. They can shut the whole thing down just because they don't like you, and there's no recourse. You can't do a thing about it. I've gotten here a couple of situations where you actually click here and see, what does a website look like once it's been censored? And one of the groups is Wired, and here of course he starts off by censoring even their title. Why censoring Wired? And then you go down here and all you see are censored pages. And this is what natural news looks like. Website has been seized by the government, etc., etc. And another website that is also promoting anti-Sopa, S-O-P-A, advertising. Here is a little article that says Sopa blackout list on January 18. Google, Wikipedia, Read It, and others websites will protest controversial censorship, internet censorship bill. The next news down, of course, is Greece in Europe. There's a video showing you pretty much how Greece is totally owned by the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. Greece has actually mortgaged the entire country to the International Monetary Fund, which I think is part of the World Bank. And basically they've said, okay, you own us, you can do whatever you want. And so technically the IMF can sell off the Acropolis, they can sell off the whole country. It doesn't belong to the Greeks anymore. So they're, in a way, you can say that the Greeks are now slaves to the IMF. And they now have to follow their monetary policies, which means that they have to cut salaries, they have to basically bring the people right down to slavery in order to pay back this debt. And of course, the worst part is that the country is now asking for more money. In other words, they haven't even paid off the first loan, and they're looking for more money because they're still broke. Again, showing that Chris Dodd is one of the, a former senator from Connecticut, is one of the supporters of internet censorship bill that's passing, and that's going through the Congress, and he's actually, you know, attacking the anti-Sopa activists. Ohio is importing large amounts of natural gas drilling water, well, you know, wastewater, from states surrounding it. And what it is basically it's a story about fracking. Fracking is when you insert water with chemicals in it into the ground so that you can get natural gas out of the ground. The problem is they drill deep on the ground through natural water wells, so that eventually people will be drinking this water with the poison chemicals in it, and of course getting very sick and dying. And also they've drilled it so far down into the ground that they're actually causing earthquakes in Ohio that have never happened before. And of course this, I understand, it's happening throughout the United States. Wherever fracking is going on, there's all of a sudden there are earthquakes that are popping up, because they're really, it's a fantastic amount. These holes are really deep, and they're reaching all the way down to the, I guess, to the plates, you know, the earthquake plates. More about that here in another video about the people that are suffering under the fracking in Ohio. Natural News is one of them that's dealing with the internet censorship bill, and of course they closed their site today, and they're making it out to look like the government closed their site, and this is what it's going to look like whenever you try to go into your favorite site and you find out all of a sudden that the government has taken it over. The next item is scientists grow meat in laboratories. Oh my God. In a nice little cartoon that I put together here, it says scientists grow meat in lab, and the cow says, I guess God did a lousy job. Scientists are making fake veggies and now fake meat. And they are. They are growing meat in the laboratories that eventually may take over, or there may be no need for killing cows and chickens and pigs. You'll just be able to eat the stuff right from the Petri dish, I guess. And so this is the article about that. You know, about, by now you'll know all about the GMO vegetables, including corn, which have been tied to population control and infertility in people in the third world. And of course you don't know what they're going to put in this meat also, that's going to probably do the same thing. But again, they're even in GMO, they're actually doing GMO salmon right now. So you can have this, you think you're buying regular fish, and you're finding you don't know what's in that fish anymore. In fact, you don't know what's in anything anymore in your supermarket, because vegetables are not labeled whether or not they're GMO. It's actually against the law to label them as GMOs. So you don't know what you're buying anymore. The next article is again showing you that Wikipedia is one of the websites that today is blacking itself out, sent to show what censorship would look like on the internet. And of course the Wikipedia is one of the largest online encyclopedias, so just about anything you want to know about, you can probably go in Wikipedia and at least get a pretty good understanding. I never trusted Wikipedia 100%, but at least it gives you an idea, and then you can go further in your investigation. Websites go black on protest internet censorship bill. again, more on this, Google decided that they're not going to go totally black on this. I guess it would have been too expensive for them. So, but they are still participating in the Stop Sopa and Pipa internet bills. The next item on here is just a doctor, believe it or not, an MD, saying that you can treat colds and the flu with hydrogen peroxide. It's a video, and you know, he even thinks that, you know, that he thought that this was more like an old wives' tale, and he's been, you know, he's been using the hydrogen peroxide for 4 years, and has had reports from other people that have been using it, and supposedly it works. So it's not a difficult situation. I think you just got to add a couple of drops into one ear and tilt it to the side, and then put a couple of drops in the other ear, and then let the stuff trickle out. But in the meantime, of course, it's sitting there and bubbling up in your ear. Hopefully it's not hurting you, and maybe it is curing your cold or flu. But he also gives other advice on how to deal with colds and flu, and saying that it's not the viruses that cause flus and cold, but it's your immune system that does that. We always have germs and viruses in our bodies. And the time that we get sick is when these germs and viruses become stronger than your immune system. So then they break down your system, and they get in there, and they actually cause the illness. But in the meantime, if you're very, very healthy, which most of us are not, unfortunately, you should not get sick. Then finally, we have this article that came out today or yesterday. Kansas GOP leader, House Speaker, sends an email prayer calling for the death of Barack Obama. What's going on here is the Speaker sent an email offering a prayer, and in the prayer, it's a quote from the Bible, and it says, "May Barack Obama's children be fatherless and his wife a widow." So it's an indirect way of saying, or pretty direct way, I would say, saying that he wishes Mr. Obama is dead. And this is our wonderful Kansas House Speaker Mike O'Neill. He's a Republican. And this is the email that he sent to his Republican friends. Well, that's the end. Hope to see you again one of these days.